Hey there everyone, I'm meteorologist Cassie Nall and this is your 10 weather impact recap for the week. Let's start with a look at some of the top weather stories from around the country. As of this recording, the government is still shut down and the impacts are being felt among federal workers. Employees who are considered essential, like forecasters with the National Weather Service, for example, are still doing their jobs but will not receive a paycheck until the government reopens. Federal weather agencies are already stretched thin and the shutdown adds even more pressure. Ivan Rodriguez takes a look at what this could mean if any major weather events impact the country.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and the Federal Emergency Management Agency will remain open because they're deemed essential to the protection of lives and property, but employees will still feel the impact.
They're doing the work without pay, without an understanding of when this shutdown is going to end. Will they get that back pay eventually?
Chris Vigaski with WiscoNet says he hopes the shutdown is resolved quickly so it doesn't severely impact the livelihoods of employees. The Weather Forecasting Agency has less than 4,000 employees for the first time in decades. It lost more than 560 people to layoffs, early retirement incentives, and other programs aimed at shrinking the size of the federal government. The agency has enough staff to accurately predict tropical storms and hurricanes, says a NOAA official who spoke to CNN on the condition of anonymity for fear of retribution.
The question, of course, is for how long and what other supporting capabilities, if you will, might be compromised, especially with so many people being furloughed right now.
With some local NWS offices short-staffed, former NOAA Administrator Richard Spinrad worries about weather events happening simultaneously across the country.
What happens if we have another hurricane outbreak and some wildfires in the West, severe drought in the Midwest? All of a sudden, you're stretching that workforce so very thin with regard to providing those services across the country and for all of these different environmental hazards.
The October full moon this past Monday was also a supermoon, meaning that the moon was full during its closest pass to Earth in its monthly orbit. That close proximity made the moon seem extra big and bright in the sky, but it also means a stronger gravitational pull, causing tides to be higher than normal around the planet. Now, when the sun, the moon, and the Earth line up just right in the spring and fall each year, those extra high water levels are called king tides, and they can cause a lot of trouble along the coast. Well, those king tides are here, and the coastal flooding is being reported from Florida to North Carolina. Robert Ray has more from Buxton, North Carolina.
Every day you see the residents come and it's a vigil looking at these houses.
At one point, all of this shoreline was concrete with more than 100 yards of beach. But over the years, and accelerating in recent days, a catastrophic scenario emerged for homeowners here, with massive erosion leading to flooding and more than a dozen home collapses here in the Outer Banks.
We see the sand accumulate, it comes and goes, and it's just, we've never seen it this severe.
And this week's king tide, combined with the supermoon, will mean even bigger challenges over the next few days. You can see here the tide is already causing flooding in some parts of Florida and South Carolina. And residents along the coast say they were shocked to see how quickly it all happened.
It's just, really traumatic loss of beach, and there wasn't much here to begin with. So it's been kind of eye-opening to see how quickly it can all go to the sea.
Now the question becomes, what will folks do with houses that are in danger but haven't fallen into the ocean? Well, some residents are calling on the state to declare an emergency, pointing out they built their homes here long before the coastal erosion began.
If I had $1 for every time somebody said, well, this is the price you pay for living on the coast.
Right.
This was not what these people envisioned when they built homes decades ago.
We're not expecting conditions to get to any kind of normalcy until next week. So people are still on guard and wary of the dangers here on the OBX. In Buxton, North Carolina, Robert Ray, Fox Weather.
Now to a heartwarming story out of southeast Kentucky. 4 months after an EF4 tornado ripped through the city of London, a family and their dog have been reunited. Kaylee Randall shares the story.
This is 7-year-old Sadie Lou. She was welcomed with love into the Carnes family when she was just a puppy.
She's been wonderful. She's always stuck by my side. Everywhere I go, she's like my shadow. She loves to be around Mama.
Tina says Sadie has always been skittish during storms. Back in May, Tina was out of town while her husband and kids were home when an EF4 tornado barreled through London.
Do they know if anybody was in this?
Her husband tried to grab Sadie, but she ran upstairs.
He couldn't chase after her because the windows started breaking, so he went running into the closet, and as soon as he got in the closet, the wind shut the door and trapped him in.
Hello?
They was looking, and there was no sight of Sadie, so she was sucked out of the house.
Tina lost her home and Sadie at the same time.
We was posting for about a month online, like on Facebook and stuff, but everybody was like, Tina, there's no way that she's lived through this. I mean, there's not been a sight. You know, she's probably just out laying somewhere and someone's just not recovered her just yet.
But after 4 months, recovery became a rescue.
It was 4:30 in the morning, and I get on Facebook and I seen there was a notification, and there was a lady posted and she said, "Is this your dog?" I was like, oh my God, that's Sadie, that's her.
Sadie was seen walking around the Berkman Feeds building a mile away from their home. With the help from an organization for animal advocacy, the family reunited once again.
It took about 10 minutes, and then Sadie was, you could just see it in her eyes. It was just like something clicked. And then her whole demeanor changed. And she was like, get me out of here. I mean, God is good. I mean, it just shows that there's miracles and hope. Don't ever let up hope.
And back here in East Tennessee, it's been 1 year since Hurricane Helene devastated the southeast. The town of Irwin in Unicoi County is known for its rafting industry and is a popular spot for resupply for hikers along the Appalachian Trail. Back in February, reporter Emily Crabtree spoke with the owner of Uncle Johnny's Hostel when they were just starting to rebuild and clean up the debris. Now they are back open, but are still working to recover from Helene.
A lot has changed, and this past year has just been a solid year of work by me, my staff, lots of volunteers, lots of friends that have helped me so much out here.
6 months ago, Uncle Johnny's Hostel in Irwin was just starting to rebuild after Hurricane Helene devastated the area.
1 year ago, the river was exactly like this. If you look at the historical records, it is low and clear, just like it is right now. And then it started raining for 3 days, and then Helene hit after that 3 days of rain. And that's when I'd be standing in about 2 feet of water right here, and the water would have gone all the way up to these buildings behind me.
It's typically a place of refuge for Appalachian Trail hikers. So the hikers were shocked when they saw the damage.
There were hikers lost in the woods, had no idea when they came down here how bad it was here.
Many friends, nonprofits, and community partners worked together over the months to save Uncle Johnny's. Even some hikers helped out.
Tons of people come through, and those are kind of my favorites because they bear witness to, what occurred, and they can appreciate how different it is.
The hostel brought back bunkhouses for hikers and even added overlook decks in the last few weeks. Even though Uncle Johnny's is getting back on its feet, there's still a lot of work to be done for Irwin businesses.
We were so proud of our outdoors, and we try to complement it with businesses like mine, but there's other rafting businesses out there that want people to come back and enjoy the town of Irwin, and it helps our economy, but it brings joy to all of us, including the people that come here to visit. So come out and see us and have a good time.
Terry says the hostel is getting ready to welcome the SOBO, or southbound hikers, who just kicked off their hike. They say without the support of the community and volunteers, none of this would be possible. And it finally feels like fall, and pretty soon it's going to start to look more like it too. But why do the leaves change color during the fall season? Meteorologist Brittany Van Horries with our sister station in Charlotte, North Carolina, breaks down the science of fall foliage.
We look forward to the leaves changing into beautiful colors each year. But what causes them to change from green to yellow, orange, and red? Leaves are green in color because they contain chlorophyll. As the growing season comes to an end, leaves gradually lose that chlorophyll and other pigments become more active. The interaction determines which color the leaf will turn. More of one pigment can change a leaf from green to orange, whereas the presence of a different pigment may make that leaf more red. In some plants, the color is quite uniform, while in others, the colors vary widely. Each plant species is unique, and color changes are typically gradual. The right weather can intensify or dampen fall colors. Each species of tree has its own unique biological needs. Too much or not enough of any particular need can change the coloring process. Trees need the right mixture of sun, wind, or rain to reach prime color. Some years, strong gusty winds will knock the leaves off too early, allowing for less bright colors. From the mountains to the coast, peak leaf changes happen at different times, starting in the highest elevations where the cold weather arrives first. For us, these changes typically begin in the mountains around early October, but don't peak in Charlotte and the rest of the Piedmont until the start of November.
And now let's get a check of the latest with the fall foliage here in the southeast. Over in western North Carolina, we are starting to see a lot more of those colors, even moderate to high, even close to peak color, starting to show up in the highest elevations in western North Carolina and in the Smokies here in East Tennessee, like places like Kewohee, Newfound Gap, and even up onto Mount LeConte. You're probably starting to get close to peak fall foliage there. Over the next several weeks, we will see that fall foliage starting to come down in elevation, and that means we'll start to notice a lot more color across our viewing area. Now, if you're ready to see color everywhere, you got to head off to the northeast, up into portions of West Virginia and into Virginia, kind of near the Shenandoah National Park. Has beautiful color right now. Out west is almost completely past peak in a lot of the highest elevations, although portions of California, Oregon, and Washington are still getting into portions of their moderate to high color right now, seeing high color all across the northern plains, the upper Midwest, and across portions of the Great Lakes. And then here into the northeast, beautiful fall color is actually happening. There was some question about this because of the drought, but right now a lot of areas in the northeast are near peak, and one of those is Vermont. It is world famous for its fall foliage, and although some people did worry about conditions this year because of the ongoing drought in New England, first-time leaf peepers were wowed with what they saw. Check that out, oh my gosh. And from a unique perspective too, Jack Thurston has that story.
With the peacefulness up there, it is just wide open.
We're high above the Champlain Valley, peeping Vermont's world-famous fall leaves.
I haven't seen the super bright neon glowy reds.
From the basket of one of Jeff Snyder's hot air balloons.
These are some of the richest ones I've seen literally so far.
Snyder's the chief pilot of above reality hot air balloon rides, offering sightseeing adventures over Vermont for more than 20 years.
These leaves are popping like this collar.
Foliage season is by far his busiest stretch.
People want to know when peak is. It's right now here. That's a real-time update from someone who was literally 50 feet above it to 2,000 feet above it with these eyeballs.
Our trip takes us past rambling rivers, floating on the wind over roads below where sunlight makes the treetops look almost fluorescent, and to places you can't necessarily see from your car, our aircraft casting a shadow on the foothills of the Green Mountains, passengers preserving memories of the experience to last long after the roughly hour-long flight.
Regardless of whatever pictures people take with their cameras, I always tell people make sure you take them up here because those will stick with you for like a long time. And people, I mean, I've had people that have flown with other companies 40 years ago. I've had people that have flown with me 20 years ago, and they will come back and they will talk about the feeling that they had. No one comes and shows me a photo they took 25 years ago. That's not how it works.
There's a bit of everything from nature's display. Oranges, yellows, and browns, but also plenty of green still. Those colors becoming bright speckles when we're far enough up that the individual trees are indistinct.
The colors were amazing.
Matt and Cheryl Simpson are here from Northern California on their first trip to New England to celebrate their 40th wedding anniversary.
I have never experienced anything like that before.
I was terrified to go. I don't like to fly. Yeah. And that was the most joyous experience I've had in a long, long time. I'll never forget it.
Very peaceful.
Very.
Another first-time visitor to Vermont, Shannon Miner, had seen fall foliage elsewhere, but not like this.
Being from West Virginia, we get to see it quite a bit, but I've never seen it from the air. So just breathtaking, beautiful.
After traveling about 14 miles, a gentle landing.
You guys grab that?
And from those Californians, a promise of a return to the skies.
Not afraid anymore?
No,
nope.
Not at all. I'd do it again right now.
Yeah.
We're going to go do it in Napa now.
And now let's get a check of our 7-day forecast. With lots of sunshine and then cool, crisp nights, that's the perfect weather that we like to see to trigger those fall leaves to start changing, to stop producing the chlorophyll and allow those beautiful other colors to show up. So that's what we're going to be seeing through this weekend, which means that next week, I think we'll really start to see those colors popping across our region. Also, the cooler nights that we're having right now, once the leaves do start to change, it kind of helps to act like a refrigerator and help preserve them for a little bit longer. So beautiful weather for all outdoor activities as you go through the weekend and into early next week. It finally feels like fall in East Tennessee. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, you can always get the latest with the forecast in the 10 News app. It's free to download in the App Store.